Looks like Christmas is already here. What a wonderful day, a wonderful way to usher in to the Advent season in which we are now worshiping in. The coming of Christ just before Christmas. The Advent season, this is the season in which we are now worshiping and waiting for the coming of Christ, the birth of Christ. I want to first give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who one day lifted me up from the dregs of degradation and set me down a solid rock, established my goings and my comings. Honor the First Lady, First Daughter, all next to this Missionary family, our visitors and friends. We greet you with Jesus' joy. There's a word from the Lord, and I want us to go to the Gospel according to St. Matthew that was read in the second chapter, beginning in the 5th verse. The Gospel according to St. Matthew, second chapter, beginning at the 5th verse. So they said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, but you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are not the least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people. I want to, now before you take your seats out, indulge me in looking at it, or you don't even have to turn if you don't want to. In the Old Testament, Micah, this is where this comes from. This is a prophecy that was prophesied almost 1,000 years before the coming. This is what they're referring to in Micah 5 and 2. But you, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me the one to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth are from of old, from everlasting. Let's stop there. Let us take a seat. So, what was said in the New Testament had been prophesied in the Old Testament. Of course, we study the New Testament in the light of the Old Testament. And so here again, we're upon the Advent season. And if I wanted to put a tag on the text, it would be, what's the deal with Bethlehem? What's the deal with Bethlehem? Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. What's the deal with Bethlehem? Turn to somebody else if they didn't hear you. Say, neighbor. Neighbor. Hey, neighbor. Neighbor. What's the deal with Bethlehem? Amen. You got it. Let us pray. The eternal, ever blessed God, we ask that you bless the words of my mouth. Bless this word. Bless the meditation of my heart as we come forth with this sermon. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. What's the deal with Bethlehem? We hear it and we sing those songs Christmas season that allude to Bethlehem to talk about the birth of the Christ child. We celebrate Christmas supposedly being mindful of all that the season represents and what the birth of Christ represents. But yet, throughout the holiday cheer and the celebration of the holidays, sometimes we lose the context in which this message is supposed to be brought to us. Or we lose the meaning of the serious or the seriousness of the season. So we ask again, what is the deal with Bethlehem? There's a little song that we sing, "O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie." Then the last line is the line that really stands out to us is, "The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight." The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. There's meaning there. There's some significance there for us today as to the meaning of the deal on Bethlehem. If we can remember, all during this time, they were dealing with hopes and fears. Much of what we deal with today, hopes and fears. When Mary and Joseph were on their way to Bethlehem, because Augustus Caesar had called for a time of which those who had lived there would return, pay taxes, and give account. And all of us simply want to be counted or counted for. Whoever you are, regardless of your walk or stature in life or your position, you want to be counted. You want to be counted, whether you're black, white, rich, or poor. You want to be counted. You want to be in the number. And I imagine Mary and Joseph on their way to Bethlehem to be counted, going there thinking that the hope that we would be recognized, the hope that we would be counted, the hope that we would be accepted, the hope that they would understand, the hope that our reputation would not be tarnished, the hope that they would understand that this thing that has been done of God, the hope that we can go and still have good reputation among folks. Hope that they would understand my bringing Mary here to this place during a time such as this. And then the fear of not being received, the fear of not being believed, the fear of not being, all of us share the hope and fear through all the year laden with Christ tonight or today. I can imagine the same must have been felt of those who are wise as me. Hoping that we had not miscalculated. Hoping that our calculations were correct in looking for the Christ child. Hoping that we would not have to return home with gifts ungiven. Hoping that we would get to the place where it was said that he would be born and he would be there. And then having the fear that they miscalculated, they misread the scriptures, they misunderstood, and to go back, the fear of going back empty handfuls and fear. And here they are. And even especially being fearful now, since they had lost their way for a minute, tell the same story. Sitting up underneath the stars at night that they had always told. And somebody said, you told that story last year. Don't you have another story? But now with hopes that there might be a new story to be told. For fear that they'd have to tell the same old story that they've always told. Looking, hoping that something different would happen on this particular night. Here, even to have an angel to say, fear not, become among your hopes and fears. If you've been paying attention to the news this week, we lost Nelson Mandela, an icon, a revolutionary, anti-apartheid revolutionary who had fought against apartheid. That means being apart from the racism that he had experienced in South Africa for many years. Having to fight that battle only to be sent to prison for life. Having spent 27 years in a penitentiary for a cause that he would have died for. So that folks might be treated equally in South Africa. And here, the hope in which he had went to prison for, hoping that things might be different, hoping that something might change in spite of folks dropping people out of airplanes into the seas and never to be found again, going in places, their places of abode and taking them out and never to be seen by family members again. That's a form of racism that we may not have experienced before. We've only could tell about it. And here, Mandela had witnessed the evacuation of so many folks here while he was languishing in prison, hoping that something might change, hoping that one day he would be able to get out. And finally, when he get out, after 27 years, being able to be the president of South Africa. Oh, but there was the fear of others that thought that the same thing which we did to them. The Afrikaners, which were Caucasians, were Africans. They called them Afrikaners. They said that should they come into power, the same thing, the fear, the same thing that was done, we did to them, they may do to us. Fear, hopes, and fears. And he wanted to have Mandela come out and said, we will forgive those who misuse us. We will forgive whatever they have done. Let us all be equal together and sit at the table of brotherhood together. He invited some of the big officials' wives to come together along with their wives and sit at the tables to eat and show an example of brotherhood where we don't have to live and we don't have to do to them what they did to us. Hopes. You got time? And fears through all the years. Now, and then there are those who have no health care insurance. Hope that maybe, just maybe I can be part of the Affordable Care Act. Hope. But then the fear that those who are trying to not to see this happen may win. Hopes of those who want to vote and want to be treated equally, but the fear of folks not trying to make it so. Hope, and we live torn between hopes and fears. Whether it be our homes personally, whether it be on the jobs, in the marketplace, hopes and fears do all the Bethlehem. This is a hero that needs to be celebrated. And this is why we celebrate Christmas because this is a time in which God calls for a ceasefire. This is what worship is, a ceasefire. Now, yes, we're always going to have opposition. We're always going to have racism. We're always going to have struggles to fight. But then there's a time for ceasefire. God calls it. Christ came to the word to call for a ceasefire. You understand? Stop fighting with your enemies. You understand? Stop fighting with family and ceasefire. It's time to come to church now. You got to tell the enemy, hey, lay down your guns. Lay down your weapons. I'm going to church. Ceasefire. It's time. This is what Christmas is about. A time for ceasefire. We come together. Yes, we've got problems. Yes, we've got opposition. Yes, we've got all kinds of struggle. But when we come in here together, worship Christ, He gives us a time out, a ceasefire, time to cease from fighting. Drop your weapons right now. Put them down. We're going to church. Ceasefire. This is why we celebrate Him. To give us, you can't be fighting with folk all the time. You can't fight 724. You understand? You need a break. So you guys have ceasefire. Stop fighting. So I ain't fighting today. I'm going to church. I'm going to church. You understand? And He gives us a time to reflect and relax and think on these things and think on the promises of Christ. I know y'all waiting about this Bethlehem, but let me, why Bethlehem? Why is He born in a small place like this Bethlehem? A seemingly insignificant place. And you know, there are a lot of us who boast and talk about where we're from. And everybody won't be from the big city, even though you might be from the country. Everybody won't claim the big city. You understand? Some folks say, you know, if you ask them, you say, New York, say, yeah, I'm New York. Yeah, you say, yeah, you know, I live in the Big Apple, you know. Somebody just moved to Chicago, say, yeah, I'm from the Windy City. Somebody else, like Edith and them, you ask, oh, well, I'm from Philly. Philadelphia, you know, city of brotherly love, I'm from Philly. You understand? Then Washington, D.C., I'm from the chocolate city. You understand? You know, everybody wants to be that, and sometimes we say it with an air of importance. And nobody really wants to be from the little place. But here, why Bethlehem, the little place? And God works good with small little places and little people and little things. He'll take the foolish things in the world that confound the most wise. Watch, but you know, he performed his first miracle in Cana of Galilee, a small place. When he healed the raving maniac, you understand, in a small place called Gadara. When he raised Lazarus from the dead, it was near a seminary outside of Bethlehem, a small place. God works good with small places. And here, He chooses this place here, Bethlehem. You know, and see, I need to tell you, you know what I'm saying, using my, some folks say, I hate to say this, but sanctified imaginations. So, you know, when anytime a city is having an event or hosting an event, some kind of sports event, usually the mayors or the governors are jockeying and vying for whose city is going to have that event, where it's going to be held at. If it's a sports, if it's a Super Bowl. You know, the mayors are getting together, jockeying and competing with other cities that have it in my place, my time. The Olympics, you understand, they come together. You know, they arguing about what city is going to be here. You know, because major events are usually hosted with major cities. If there's a political conference, you know, they vie for what city is going to get all the action. What city do we want them to come to? Right. I imagine during Jesus' time, the mayors of Athens, Greece, came together and said, look here, we want to put our bid. I believe that there may have been a press leak, you understand, to the media, that God was looking for some place to have his son born, a city, some place in the country. And all the country is his, all the cattle on the thousand hills belong to him, all the land, all the whole world is in his hand. He can have it wherever he wants to. Right. But he's looking for a place in which the Christ, his son, would be born. Right. And no doubt everybody wants to host that place. The same, the Son of God was born here. And I imagine, you don't got time. The mayor of Athens, Greece said, you know, we are the artists of the world. We have the greatest libraries. We have all the nice sights to see and whatnot. Why not here? And I imagine even the mayor of Rome, Italy, said, no, why don't you have it here? I mean, after all, we have the Roman Colosseum here. And we have all kinds of folks come from far and near. And we set the standard for major cities all over the world. Why not here? I imagine that even the mayor of Jerusalem said, this is a holy city. And why not here? What better sense does it make than that have here? And I imagine. And the angel said, no, somebody has outbid all y'all. And they bid it over 8,000 years ago. Micah already announced where he would be born. Ephraim, he said, now, Bethlehem, or little town of Bethlehem, this is where he was to be born. And I think, yo, I think I need to tell you that the very word Bethlehem, wise, means house of bread. And we say that Christ is the bread of life. And some might refer to it as a living bread. So it's really appropriate that the house of bread. It just makes good sense. You understand? And I think I need to tell you that bread, you understand, the place that bread occupies at the table is an important place. You understand? I mean, all our meals, you understand, you know, there's, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, there's bread. You understand? Whether it be biscuits, rolls, toast, wheat toast, white toast, you understand? What cornbread, you say some kind of bread in each meal. You understand? That depicts a square meal. And you haven't had a square meal except you have some bread at one of these tables. So that's how important Christ is. And your disciple occupy, just as he occupies that space at your dining room table. The bread occupies that space. So it is that he has to occupy that space in our life. The bread of life. We're going to be able to have a square meal in life. You understand? We got to have Christ. You understand? I don't care whether you're married, you got a husband, a wife, a sweetheart. But there ain't nothing if Christ is not. You understand? I don't care whether or not you got good aunts and uncles and good strong family members. You got to try. But if Christ is not there, you have nothing. I don't care whether you have a good job, automobiles to drive, color TV, 52-inch screen, all of that kind of stuff. If Christ is not there, we have nothing. Y'all got time? I got some from the lineage of David. And then if you remember, you read the scriptures, it's often said that he refers to as a son of David. I heard the blind as a son, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on this soul. If he be born in Bethlehem, in Bethlehem, the house place where David minded his daddy's sheep there. David got his sheep training. And no wonder Jesus referred to it as the good shepherd. Because the place where good shepherds were trained was Bethlehem. Just the deal. Bethlehem. You understand? I know y'all got deep, but here, there's something else here. This Bethlehem, and him being a good shepherd has about 6 qualifications that they have to have. And Jesus fits all of them. You understand? A good shepherd knows his sheep. And not only does he know his sheep, but they recognize him. And not only do they recognize him, but he knows their name. And they recognize his voice. You understand? A good shepherd, he protects his sheep. He feeds his sheep. And this is the good one here. He laid down his life for his sheep. That's the good shepherd. No wonder Bethlehem. No wonder it's a fitting place, the house of bread. No wonder the foundation of which all good shepherds are trained. Bethlehem. The deal about this Bethlehem, y'all. Here we celebrate. This is the occasion which we celebrate Christmas. This is the Advent season, and he has come. And the reason why he has come is that we might celebrate him because he, with all our hopes and fears in him, we lay all to him. Whatever hope you got, whatever fear you have. This is the reason for the season. This is the reason for the ceasefire. This is the reason that we can go back and fight the battle, the good battle, whatever fight it might be. But he's the reason for the season. And it's for that reason, Bethlehem, we serve and we worship him. We come here. So let's not get Christmas twisted here. As we approach Christmas, you understand? This is the Advent season leading into Christmas Day. Let's not get it confused. The toys, the gifts, we can buy stuff for. But let us make it right in remembering that because of him we have the balance between hopes and fears. Because of him we can deal with our hopes as well as our fears. Because of him we have a ceasefire. That's right. And we drop our weapons, drop our guns. And so we ain't fighting today. We ain't battling. It's time